Hello, friends. It's Chapo.
I get to see the breach. I get to see the rupture. I get to see beyond the veil, and that is a very appealing thing. But it also has the function of sort of soothing you in your current agony and uncertainty, because it provides a attractive, in a real meaningful, like deep sense, endpoint, rather than the real horror, the prospect of just muddling along the same but worse unto death.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very simple, maybe a bit of a truism for predicting the future. Whenever I repeatedly see an outcome predicted in viral tweets, I immediately assume it will not happen.
Yeah.
But it
Very
is
strongly.
very rarely led me astray.
Yeah, that's solid.
The thing is, though, like, even in the end of the world, or the end of the world as you know it, you're still you. You still live your life. You still have the same greed and vanity and desires and loves and hates. The unfortunate fact is, even when the world ends, you're still you.
Yeah.
And I would hope that the people who try to soothe themselves with apocalyptic predictions would realize that.
Yeah.
But we truly do not know. I mean, I don't want to make any predictions, and I will say this, couching it in that I really do not know, and that none of us know. But I feel like the most likely scenario is, the Great American Breakup, which is not to say that, America ends, but that it's a type of super federalism.
Yes, where democracy, we have to keep democratic structures, but we cannot let them be governed by the death drive that way. It's a fundamental contradiction that can't be allowed to maintain itself if the system is going to maintain itself. And if the system has the vigor to prevent total collapse, which I think we agree it does, then it will figure out a way to reduce that democratic participation in such a way that it's a stable element. And the way to do that is the federal government, as we understand it, collapses to the degree that it's no longer necessary to maintain our beloved supply chains and the flow of currency and institutions like the military. But its political value is completely deleted. It's exsanguinated by probably some sort of Thailand-style military government that runs the actual business of the state from a imagined post-political perspective. And then that means that the states get to do politics, and you get to see the creation of these dueling regimes that get to have a Cold War within the United States, a cultural and economic competition to try to prove the worthiness of their way of life.
I would say that does present a greater opening than exists in our current system.
Certainly. I mean, at the very least, it means that the Democratic Party, perhaps the single most politically deleterious institution left in America, it can only now inhibit anything good. It certainly would not be able to survive that kind of fracturing.
Right. No, there would be a set of regional parties.
Yeah. They could shake up this awful fucking deadlock where he's just got two factions of steadily mentally breaking down, nervous breakdown having homeowners. That's all this is. That's what we're stuck with, is two groups of clinically insane, delusional homeowners trying to perform this apocalyptic politics of cleansing on one another. And we're all just literally hostage to it.
Yeah, and then every federal election for every federal position thereafter is what it is now, but more so in that it's like American Idol. In that you get, people will win or people will be runners up, but the real prize is that they get to be a celebrity.
Yes,
or they get to extend their own celebrity.
And that is the thing that's really militating most strongly against some sort of apocalyptic confrontation. It's certainly not the power of our institutions. It's not the fucking January 6th committee hearings or any of this bullshit. It's not the better angels of our nature. It's the fact that far overriding anybody's desire to be part of some apocalyptic warfare over righteousness, a far higher motive of that in people's mind is the desire to be famous. The desire to succeed within the attention and therefore money economy. Because, hey, if you can thrive in the system as it exists, isn't that better than destroying yourself in apocalyptic violence? And most people in America are to the end going to say yes, because as you said, we're all dreaming of apocalypse, but we're still us when it happens.
Yeah. This weekend I read that it was from like a week ago or so, that really long profile in the New Yorker about DeSantis. And the thing that struck me in it is that, DeSantis doesn't fit he doesn't fit the profile of like a hooting chud in any way. And I don't think he would ever describe himself as such. That's certainly not who he is. He's a lifelong overachiever, an incredibly clever guy, a very competent person, sort of aloof and awkward with people. He reminds me a lot of maybe Richard Russell in Master of the Senate a little bit. Mm-hmm. But after that, I did sort of a deep dive on Kevin McCarthy.
Yes.
And it sort of stemmed out after, do you remember when there was that rumor of him fucking that South Carolina rep, and it kept him from being speaker in 2015?
Yes.
I just thought that was interesting. I was just imagining them having sex for a little bit in between my vomiting spells. My vomiting spells had nothing to do with that. But
never.
The thing that struck me is not like, compare these to like Tip O'Neill and Robert Taft and the old deal makers of old, and look how different they are and how venal they are. No, they're the exact same people. They're the exact same people, but towards a different meta.
Mm-hmm.
The Tafts and the Russells and the fucking Hubert Humphreys, they're all the same people, but the meta they played to was this agreed upon reality and this consensus reality and agreed upon idea that we have to keep managing the state and give, there are debates over what concessions will be given, but give concessions because we are competing with the Soviet Union and the overall system of communism. Yes. And that we have to manage this empire. Their successors, the DeSantises, the McCarthys, the Eric Swalwells, whatever, they're all pretty much the same in personality. I mean, there's an increasing amount of jug hooters, but for the most part, the most important players are this same sort of competent transactional people, but the meta they're playing to is a celebrity meta. So they're taking that same competence and calculation and transactional nature and using it in the same way that you would use them to become a celebrity, which is what DeSantis has done and what McCarthy has done.
And meanwhile, all that work that they have to do that was like supposed to take all these other skills and was designed for people who have these other skills are going essentially uncompleted because they have no HP there. They have no, their stats are out of that quadrant. So it ends up just being the staffers doing it, which means it's just the fucking money. So the whole point of having an elected representative is annihilated.
Well, there is a new type of politics out there. There a better world is possible. There is a type of leader that is not a lifelong overachiever, one-time manager of the system who now cynically gears himself towards press releases and his own celebrity, but a true exemplary American. Someone who maybe is a little bit like you or me in that he has a secret family. I'm talking about the future of politics, future Senator Herschel Walker.
Yep. I mean, we've been talking about the process whereby these people have been slowly lobotomized over time. It makes sense to just have a guy with full-blown CTE in the Senate.
Yeah, I love Herschel Walker because there's such a gulf between the smugness of his presentation, because all the MAGA guys are kind of smug.
Oh, very.
Under Brandon, at least. But when Herschel Walker talks, it's fucking gibberish.
Yeah.
Beyond Biden's worst days.
Oh, way worse. Yeah.
Nonsense. I saw a clip of him. They're asking him about Uvalde and how we would stop mass shootings, and he's like, look, you just gotta, instead of, having someone you try to take away our rights, have a whole department for that. You just gotta have somebody on social media to look at the guys who are looking at the girls on social media.
And that's the problem that we have. And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. He talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men that's looking at women that's looking at just social media? What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way? But yet they want to just continue to talk about taking away your constitutional rights.
Oh yeah, the looking for the guys looking at girls on social media. What the fuck?
I mean, it's a new type of politics, all right.
Put it on a fucking statue. The looking at the guys looking at girls looking at guys on the internet.
So they have they found 3 secret Walker children in like the past week.
And this is, of course, after campaigning on a dads need to be there, quit being deadbeat. It's about that's the cause of crime, etc. Blah blah blah, and just like, oh yeah, I have secret families who I never visit, scattered across the state.
I gotta say, I'm not really sold on him winning.
You don't think so? I mean,
I just kind of don't see it.
It's interesting. Like this will honestly be one of the most interesting races in 2022 because you have this thing where you have the headwinds we were talking about, like all pushing against Brandon big time. This is the kind of thing where like the economic conditions are going to see people voting Republican in big numbers. But at the same time, you have a personal candidate who's supposed to be like embodying the party just in every level, manifestly in front of everyone, incapable of doing the job, in a way that is new and more advanced than anything we've seen. And now like just a parody of all of the social morals he's supposed to represent. If he wins, I don't know. I think it just shows that the partisan identity is now so fully embraced by people who vote that there's really nothing that you can do as a candidate as long as you get that nomination and have that ballot line that will make any significant number of them think twice about voting for you, because in their mind it is just it's that number, it's that one more vote in the Senate, because they understand it to be about exerting power, not about deliberation or like somebody, being a representative. It's about them executing a directive.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. And I think that Eric Greitens will win.
Oh boy, that's depressing.
Yeah. No,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's an ugly one. Do you know he's Jewish?
Oh my God. No way.
Isn't that crazy?
That's very shocking to me.
Isn't that crazy?
That's wild. He's way better than Josh Mandel then.
Yeah, he's matrilineally Jewish.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Tip of the cap there.
Do you think his mom brags? Do you think it's like, your son abused his child? Well, my son knocked his kid's teeth out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What a piece of shit.
Your son was elected to the state house, the state House of Representatives. My son was impeached as governor. Or no, did he have to resign? I think he resigned, but rather than getting impeached.
Yeah, no, it was a Nixon type thing where they had the votes to impeach, and he's like, "All right, I'll step down."
And boy, just wait a little bit. It's like there are lines, but it's not definitive anymore. It's like you can come back from basically anything if you have the right presentation and you have the right buy-in. And at a certain level, getting driven out of office for manifest crimes actually works to your benefit, because it means that they don't like you and they're trying to get you. And it means that you have the option as a voter to just decide, oh, I don't believe any of that. I'm just deciding, I'm pressing not believe on this. I'm playing LA Noire and I go doubt every time it comes up. I just mash doubt because I don't care.
I find that significantly more depressing than if Walker won. I mean, Walker also like an awful guy in his own right.
Yeah.
But
domestic abuser also.
Yeah.
I believe.
I don't know, but going back to him, I don't know. My hesitance to say that Walker will win is not so much in his weakness as a candidate, which I think we can both agree on is like, that's a pre-2016 calculus. Like, who gives a shit? It's
wild.
But it's more that I don't think they know what to do with Warnock. It's that the opposition stuff on Warnock, it feels so like pre-2016.
Yeah.
Oh, his church hosted Hugo Chavez. What? Who gives a shit? What are you talking about? No one cares. I think that like their problem is Warnock is himself too liked in a way that like I don't even know who's running against Greetons. Some sacrificial loser. But Warnock does, however small his margin was, does seem to be pretty well liked.
I mean, yeah, he's able to put together like a really likable image that a lot of people could kind of judge separate from like the Democratic label, and can like, the fact that he's a literal minister, I think that gives him credibility that allows him to, skirt some of the culture war stuff that is really what really makes these races so predetermined in the South. But at the same time, he's got to be the face of Brandon's economy right now,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the trend line, I don't know. The trend line in Georgia elections is significantly more positive than like, Texas or Missouri.
Oh, sure. No, that's true. Yeah, and that's why they're having to do the big time, the new voter suppression. Although, from what I understand, the fact of the voter suppression mechanisms now has like kind of turbocharged like voter outreach efforts. I don't know. It might end up being that they cancel each other out and there's no real big difference, but you always got to factor that in.
Yeah, it makes Democrats do the shit that they should have always been doing.
Right, exactly.
If they actually wanted to win.
Like, hey, you guys have been taken for granted that you're both playing by the same rules at the end of the day about like who gets to sit in what chair. And it turns out, no, they are playing a completely different game. And so they've spent every moment that they've been in power in every state in this country dissolving like the struts of Democratic representation to advantage their shrinking electorate. And that means that like if a crisis really hits, like you're not going to be able to depend on just like tidal gravity pulling things back towards you, which is what you've only been able to do since Reagan, because every time they get back into power, they make it harder for you, no matter what happens, to defeat them in the future.
I mean, I feel like the Great American Crack Up, the super federalism, will be pretty gradual rather than an
like soothing into a hot bath.
But, let's say it's 30 years from now and the process is already completed. I wonder what side Georgia falls on.
I mean, I think with a lot of these states, it would probably not, you'd probably see the state structures themselves kind of fall apart because of the huge dynamic between like rural and urban counties, like more of a Syria type situation.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Archipelagos of power and then like a sea of, a no-go zones with a completely different municipal like legal structures and laws.
So, so like Atlanta and Athens and shit, that would be like Latakia.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's a pretty good analogy.
Yeah.
Texas is Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. You want to talk about the Lauren Boebert leaving her family to die?
I just briefly, I do, yes. Yeah. So the story is that she fucking bailed out on her four-wheeler while her sister-in-law and her daughter, and who else was on there? Her ex-husband? And she just left them there. And then she, of course, covered it up so that it didn't hurt her campaign.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just crazy to me because it's like, isn't the thing with mothers that they'll get superhuman strength if they think their family?
You think she gets superhuman strength to run away from her kid in danger?
Yeah, she got superhuman speed.
Yeah,
she's awesome. Won't hurt her at all. Also,
no, that's the thing that we're talking about. Won't hurt her at all. Like you got the Uvalde cops just like being like, yeah, but we didn't want to get shot. Like we didn't sign up for that. We signed up to shoot people. And now today it drops. Oh, yeah, now they said they waited for an hour because they needed the key to get in. It wasn't locked. The door wasn't locked.
But
it's lying about that this entire time.
Even if it wasn't locked, think about all the fucking locked doors the cops kick in to shoot a dog in the face 87 times.
Yeah. Oh, but it's so transparent, like perfidy. Like these people are not honorable, and like the thing that's supposed to uphold the martial values of reactionary culture is supposed to be honor, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's supposed to be an honor culture that like what affirms a hierarchy, is that those within it act honorably. And now you got it's these people now who are supposed to represent the honor culture within American politics, who just transparently are the most selfish, craven, cowardly pieces of shit on earth. And nobody cares because we've given up the pretense. It's like, actually, I said honor, but what I really meant is my personal comfort. I'm sorry. We had that mistake. Now, what I want is somebody who reflects my own venality back to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that they will get attacked on this just like makes it a positive. Well, what can we say but look forward to the great crack up.
It should be fun.
Look forward to an X factor, like maybe a charismatic military officer, like we've talked about before.
I mean, the sad thing is that like a Napoleon free officers movement style carnation revolution, like one version of that is our best hope at this point. Shout out Freddie Jameson there on that one. The army is like the only model for any kind of egalitarian social order, any kind of actual honor-based culture that we have in this country.
Yeah. Well, the tough one with that is like usually when a free officers movement takes over, or there's like a charismatic individual who's leading a corps within the military, they're taking over from some like overbearing system. Is there really any precedent for a free officer movement doing that in just like a collapsing shitty system that's decaying?
Yeah, where they just like step into the breach rather than like decapitate a machine. Yeah.
Going against the void rather than resistance.
Right, yeah. I don't know. I mean, the thing going against it is that even at this point, even the middle officers of our military have been selected to be craven shitheads, If there's any hope, it's like at the lowest levels. Like lieutenants, not fuck a colonel's movement, a lieutenant's movement. That's it.
Yeah.
Or staff sergeant. I don't know. Maybe it has to be NCOs. I don't know. You know what? Maybe if it's NCOs, then we get Starship Troopers. But if it's lieutenants, we get like a Carnation Revolution. We'll see.
If you're a lieutenant out there and 30 is kicking up and you're looking for something to do, hey, this is your best shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hit our lineup. But don't tell us any illegal things you're planning on doing.
Yeah, no.
Keep that to yourself.
All right.
All
well,
right.
until super federalism, until the southern states become sort of the collegiate, oil-rich Gulf monarchies, and I guess the northern Great Lakes, that could be like Northern Europe.
Yeah, Scandinavia. Yeah, I mean, it literally is filled with Scandos. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. California is France. Yeah, until then, just keep on holding on.
Keep on keeping on.
I'm just going to do some quick plugs here. Remember, we still have 2 live shows coming up in the Portland area. That is on August 4th at the Aladdin Theater. And then August 6th, of course, at the Pickathon Music Festival. And also, everything on our merch store is 25% off through July. You can find links to all those things on chapotraphouse.com. There are only 2 links on that site. One goes to merch, one goes to live shows. It's easy to find. That's it.
All right. Till next time.